Hi and welcome to Buildaroo TV. We're here at PCBC 2009 and I'm here with John from the CBPCA.
You said that well. I still have trouble saying that. CBPCA.
It's a lot of acronyms, but maybe you can tell us a little bit about the association?
It's a group of building performance contractors, and what building performance contractors do is analyze existing homes to figure out why utility bills are high and how they can be reduced, why they're uncomfortable, why some rooms are hot, some rooms are cold, why there's mold growing on the wall, why there's funny odors. We're kind of the general physicians of building comfort and energy use.
Great. So there's a lot of new regulations and things regarding energy use and green building. Can you tell me a bit about how green building will play into all this and energy savings and efficiency, and as related to some of these new regulations maybe?
Well, the basic rule in California is Title 24, and it every 3 years the state revises it and tightens it. Lighting rules are getting changed; they have to be more efficient, and it's all to reduce our energy usage because conserving energy is the cheapest way to create energy. The Title 24 is the basic one, but we also have rules that are coming from the different jurisdictions. For instance, in Sonoma County, where I live, 7 of our 8 cities have adopted green building ordinances where you have to have an independent analyst or auditor come in and check that your systems aren't leaking, that you're basically not wasting resources, and that the energy won't be the structure won't be an energy hog. So the individual jurisdictions are doing it, the state's doing it, and the different trades are all tightening up their standards. Your heating and cooling system has to be much more efficient than it was years ago. Of course, appliances that we're putting in, there's new restrictions on what you can put in your home, and it's all to save energy, or to not waste energy, more technically.
So contractors must have to do quite a bit to adapt to these new standards and things.
Yeah, it's a much more complex world than when I was a young buck. We didn't worry about hardly any of this stuff.
So what can you tell contractors to do to deal with a lot of these new changing regulations and standards?
Boy, you better be willing to go to classes and read, and as in most things today, most professions, you don't go to college and then quit learning. I mean, it's lifetime learning. I probably spend 2 weeks a year in taking classes, besides my independent reading, to stay up with the rules and the standards. And building science is incredibly more sophisticated. We have blower doors, which I don't have a picture of. There's all this technology of ways we can check our buildings for energy waste that we just simply didn't have 20 years ago. So, but all that equipment is complicated. It's like a doctor. You know, you just can't rely on what you learned 40 years ago because 3/4 of it's obsolete. You have to keep studying, keep going to classes. It's an ongoing process.
Yeah, it sounds pretty tough to keep up with all the standards. But can you tell me a little bit about Title 24, actually, more specifically?
Well, that's the specific section of California law that tells builders the minimum standards they have to meet to ensure their structures don't waste energy.
Okay.
And it's came in 1979. We were the first state to start requiring minimum energy usage, and it's the routine now is every 3 years the Energy Commission and the Utilities Commission upgrade the standards and keep tightening it on insulation, on window quality, on lighting. So it's just how we make sure that we aren't building things that are inefficient and wasteful.
For when you're building all these things and matching these standards, a lot of times you have to use certified products, right?
Yes, a good example of that is EnergyStar. You don't have to. A lot of the cities, the jurisdictions now, when they require for residential that you have a certain amount of build it green points. Right. And there's different ways you can get those points, but one of the ways is to use EnergyStar appliances. So those are appliances that have been certified by the federal government to maintain certain minimums. So when you say certified, it depends. If you're doing a cool roof to keep a building from overheating, that roofing has to be certified by the roofing. So yes, I mean, you have to understand the standards, and different products have different raters and different standards, but yeah, that's a big factor in the products we choose. And
how do contractors make sure they're getting something that's truly certified and not just as falsely certified as it seems that a lot of agencies are starting to do? Certification is kind of a big
you just have to educate yourself, and the classic example, for instance, in lumber is an FSC, Forestry Sustainability Council certified lumber. The lumber industry has created a certifier called FSI, Forest Sustainability Initiative. Well, frankly, that certification is greenwashing. CSF is the true, if you want to be sure that the wood you're putting in your house came from sustainable forests, it's got to be FSC certified. And you only learn that by just being in the industry, you know, and maybe a website can educate you on that. A lot of certification is not independent, and you just have to look at each case by case as to see whether it's a legitimate, true third-party certification or whether it's a self-serving industry certification.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time, John. It was great talking to you. And if there's any last words you'd like to tell our viewers at Buildaroo?
Boy, just be sensitive to the resources we use, because we have a lot of generations coming after them that need to share this world, and let's try to leave it as clean and pretty a place as we found it.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right.